How to register to vote in Maryland. To vote in Maryland, you have to register. The Maryland State Board of Elections works with 24 local county boards to ensure every resident who wants to register is able to do so. In order to register to vote, you must be eligible to do so. If you are eligible, you can register yourself online, through the mail, or in person. If you are already registered to vote in Maryland, you can update your information in various ways, which is particularly helpful when you change addresses. Method 1. Determining voter registration eligibility. 1. Check your United States citizenship status. In order to register to vote in Maryland, you must be a United States citizen. If you were born in the United States, your birth certificate is proof of your citizenship. If you were born outside of the United States, you may still be a United States citizen, but you will need to check with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. 2. Make sure you are domiciled in Maryland. If you want to vote in Maryland, you have to be a resident of the state. To be considered a Maryland resident, you must be domiciled within the state. Your domicile is the place you consider to be your permanent or official home. Your domicile will usually be the address you have on your driver's license, tax documents, and bank accounts. Additionally, your domicile might not be the place where you are actually living if that living arrangement is temporary. For example, if you are a college student in Maryland, you can only register to vote if you consider Maryland to be your permanent or official home. 3. Meet the Maryland age requirements. In Maryland, you can register to vote when you are 16 years old. However, you will not be allowed to vote until you are 18 years of age. 4. Ensure you are not disqualified. Certain categories of individuals are not allowed to vote in Maryland. If you find yourself in one of these prohibited categories, you will not be able to register. Maryland considers the following groups of individuals unable to register. Anybody convicted of buying or selling votes. Anyone under guardianship for a mental disability and found by a court to be unable to express their desire to vote. Any convicted felon currently serving a court-ordered prison sentence. 5. Confirm your eligibility as a felon. As of early 2016, felons can register to vote in Maryland under certain circumstances. If you are a convicted felon, you will be able to register as soon as you complete your court-ordered prison sentence. Convictions include any federal, state, and out-of-state convictions. Contact the Maryland Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services to get your right to vote restored. If you were convicted in another jurisdiction, contact the Parole and Probation Division in that state or region. However, if you were convicted of buying or selling votes, you will not be eligible to vote, even when your sentence is complete. 6. Verify your ability to register if you are in the military or living overseas. If you are a United States citizen living overseas for various reasons, you may still be eligible to register in Maryland. To be eligible, you must be a United States citizen living overseas, a current military member living overseas, or a dependent of a military member living overseas, e.g., the husband or wife of a military member living overseas. In addition, your last address in the United States must be in Maryland. Method 2. Registering to vote online. 1. Start your application in a timely manner. If you are eligible to register, the easiest way to do so is online. If you want to vote in any upcoming elections, you will have to register by the voter registration deadline in order to be eligible. In most cases, your application must be sent in at least 21 days prior to any election day. 2. Access Maryland's online voter registration system, OLVR. If you are within a registration window, use a computer or mobile device with internet access and navigate to Maryland's OLVR website. This website can be used to register yourself for any federal, state, county, and city elections in Maryland. 3. Start the application. Once you find the website, you will see a button at the bottom of the page that says Next. Click on this button to start the application. The next page has a privacy statement you need to read and agree to. By clicking the Next button again, you are agreeing to the statement. 4. Select your voter type. The first question on your voter registration application asks for your voter type. Click on the description that best fits your circumstance. Once you click on the applicable description, you will press Next. Examples of voter type descriptions include, but are not limited to: a U.S. citizen living in the U.S., a U.S. citizen who has never lived in the U.S., a member of the military or merchant marine on active duty, a spouse or dependent of a military member or merchant marine on active duty. 5. Collect your personal information. Once you choose your voter type, a screen will pop up informing you of the information you will need to complete the registration. For example, if you inform the system that you are a U.S. citizen living in the U.S., you will be required to match your name, date of birth, and your identification number. Read the information carefully, then click Next. 6. Provide your personal information. At this point, you will begin filling out your application. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 will all ask for certain types of personal information. Step 1 will ask for your name, date of birth, gender, and social security number. Step 2 asks for information from the Motor Vehicle Administration, MVA, which will include your ID or license number. Steps 3 and 4 ask for various addresses. Step 6 will ask you for your contact information, which might include your phone number and email address. Step 7 will require you to provide information from previous registrations. The application requires you to fill out each step in order, so make sure you complete each step before moving on. 7. Choose a political affiliation. Maryland recognizes 4 political parties, which are the Democrats, Republicans, the Libertarians, and the Green Party. You must affiliate with a specific political party if you want to take part in their caucuses, primaries, or conventions. On Step 5 of your registration application, you will be able to pick the party affiliation you want. If you do not want to choose a party affiliation, that is fine. Just remember that you will not be able to take part in certain party functions if you do so. 8. Fill in the remaining sections as necessary. The registration application will also ask you if you need any voter support or if you want to offer your services during elections. On Step 8 of the application, you will be able to make these choices. In addition, if you need an absentee ballot, which is used if you are unable to go to the polls personally, you can request one in Step 9. 9. Take the oath and sign your application. When your application is complete, you will be prompted to read an oath and sign your application. Read the oath carefully and make sure you understand it before you sign the application. Once you sign, you will be given an opportunity to review your application before you submit it. 10. Submit your application. Once you have confirmed that all the information in your application is correct, you will submit the application online by clicking a button. You do not need to print the application out or send it through an email. 11. Contact the Maryland State Board of Elections if you are having problems submitting your voter registration online. They can be reached at 800-222-8683 or info.sbe@maryland.gov. Method 3. Signing up through the mail. 1. Obtain a copy of the voter registration application form. If you do not have consistent access to the internet, or would rather send in a paper application, you can do that. Paper applications can be found at various locations around the state, including at your local Board of Elections, the State Board of Elections, your local MVA location, any college campus, and at offices of aging. You can also download an application online and print it. 2. Use black ink. Your entire application must be filled out using black ink. Make sure you have a black pen handy before you start. You can also fill the application out on your computer and print it in black ink. 3. Mark the appropriate boxes in Section 1. As an initial inquiry, the registration application will ask you to verify that you are at least 16 years old and a citizen of the United States. If you cannot verify this information, you will not be able to register. 4. Indicate what type of application you are filing. Section 2 asks you to check any box that applies to the type of application you are filing. For example, if you are filling out a new registration, you will check that box. If you are changing your address, you will check that box. 5. Provide your personal information. Your personal information needs to be included throughout the application in Sections 3 through 8. In those sections you will need to include your name, gender, date of birth, driver's license number, social security number, residence address, and mailing address. 6. Choose a political affiliation. If you want to claim a party affiliation, you will do so in Section 9. You can only check one box. If you do not want to be affiliated with a specific party, you can check the box titled Unaffiliated. 7. Include your contact information. Section 10 will ask you to provide, at a minimum, your phone number. You can also include your email address if you would like. 8. Decide whether you need help or would like to volunteer. As a registered voter, you can receive help voting if you need it. If you have trouble seeing, or if you have any other disability that might impair your ability to vote, check the box titled Check Here if you need help voting. Additionally, if you would like to be an election judge, you can check the appropriate box to help. 9. Provide an original signature. Once all of the application information is included, you will need to sign and date the form. Your signature must be original, which means it cannot be typed, stamped, or made in any other way besides personally writing it. 10. Write down any other applicable information. Below your signature you can include information about previous voter registration application. For example, if your name has changed or address has changed, you would include that information in Sections A and B. 11. Address your application. When you are done with your application, you need to put it in an envelope and address it properly. Completed applications can be sent to the State Board of Elections or your county's Board of Elections. You can find the proper address by visiting the State Board of Elections website. 12. Send it in. Once you have properly addressed your application, you can put a stamp on the envelope and send it in. Applications will not be accepted if you try to fax them or email them. Method for registering in person. 1. Find a location to fill out your application. You can complete and submit your voter registration application at various locations around the state of Maryland. The State Board of Elections website has a complete list of locations. Pick a location that is convenient for you. Locations where you can fill out and submit your application include your local Board of Elections, the State Board of Elections, the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, the Department of Social Services, Your local MBA. The Offices on Aging. The MTA Paratransit Certification Office. All colleges. Military recruitment offices. Marriage license offices. 2. Fill out your application. When you arrive at the location you want to register to vote, ask for a registration application. The application will be identical to the one you would fill out if you were sending it through the mail. Therefore, it will be filled out the same way with the same information. 3. Submit your application. When you are finished filling out your application, hand it to the responsible employee where you are. The employee will make sure the application gets where it needs to be. 4. Go to an early voting center to register and vote at the same time. As with any registration application you submit online or through the mail, you must generally register at least 21 days prior to any election. However, if you are unable to register in a timely manner, you may be able to register in person during early voting. To register to vote at an early voting location, go to the location located in the county where you live and bring a document that proves where you live, e.g., a driver's license, ID, paycheck, utility bill. With that information in hand, you will be able to register at the polls. Method 5. Updating your registration information. 1. Use the OLVR. If you have changed your name or address since your last registration application was filed, you will need to update your voter registration. The easiest way to do this is online using the OLVR. You will use the online system just like you did when you filled out your original online registration application, except this time you will indicate that you are updating your information. 2. Send in a new voter registration application. You can also notify your local Board of Elections of any changes by sending in a new registration application. You will fill out the information in the same manner as if you were registering for the first time, except in Section 2 you will indicate that you are changing your name and/or address. Once you have completed the application, you will send it to your local Board of Elections or the State Board of Elections. 3. Update information during early voting. As a last resort, you can update certain registration information during early voting. If you need to change your address, for example, you can do this by bringing proof of your new address, e.g., driver's license, utility bill, paycheck, with you to the early voting site. However, you cannot change your party affiliation during early voting. This must be done after the election. If you have changed your name, you will have to vote under your former name, but you will be able to fill out a form that contains your new name. Your name will then be updated after the election.